there are other plans, we don't have a choice. Yeah. Live. I call the meeting to order March 26th at 6:04. I'd like to do roll call.
Dunn, present.
Bologoff present.
Davis present. I don't think my thing is on.
Mike?
Oh,
have to pull-
Davis present.
Yeah.
There you go.
Adoption of agenda, only you and I can do that. Does it take only two or does it take three?
Sure.
But she wasn't here. Okay, okay. So adoption of the agenda, deletions, additions, and changes?
I move that we accept the agenda as it is.
Thank you.
Do I second? Yeah.
Approval of minutes. Two can do it,
No.
so we'll have to leave it till
Excuse me,
next
please.
time. Oh, I
We have
think
a commissioner
Karen's
coming.
coming. Oh, good, we can, as soon as she gets here. She took a detour. These are the times I wish I had curly hair like yours. Because,
Not as curly as it used to be.
really? This is it,
Yeah.
my entire life. I always had curly. Did you? Mm-hmm. She took a shortcut. And I don't want to go down like communications in case she has something. It'll be a second. We can never count on the weather, we can never count on the traffic. we can never count on our Exactly.
Oh.
boss, we can never- It's true. A client or something and hold you up and you're on the edge, and it happens. Here she comes. We're down to approval of the minutes, and we can't do it without you here.
Oh, my goodness, I'm so sorry. Oh, I can't believe it.
No big deal.
I was just gonna sneak in and you're waiting for me? It's awful. Hello,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, I.
So, approval of minutes. I don't know if you read yours, did you?
I did, actually. Looks good to me.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now I have citizens' communications. Doesn't look like anyone has anything. Old business, Gold's Workshop, setting a date.
So, what we're looking at is probably sometime in May or possibly June.
Uh-huh.
I think we're still got some dates that we're trying to work with staff on. So if you could email into Nancy your availability for a Saturday or perhaps a Friday afternoon, if that works for the commission. And just let her know available dates, and then we'll try to winnow that down and get some word out to you in terms of when we'll do that. Probably about a 2-hour session.
Probably.
Okay.
Can we have an email go out to us and we can respond to it in that way?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, new business, meeting dates, discuss. Nancy, what is that?
That's my thing. So when I submitted my application, I had a prior commitment. I do the meetings at Silver Spot. I provide the childcare for them. I've been doing that for 5 years. And Sherry suggested to me that I apply anyways, and that maybe we could discuss the possibility of switching to another Wednesday in the month. I am totally fine with giving up my commitment to Silver Spot. I've already talked to them, but if it was okay with you and that was possible with your schedule, I figured I'd ask to see what everyone else thought. That's a possibility.
We originally were on the second Wednesday, and we changed it for dawn, if you remember. And we went to the third Wednesday, so I have no problem.
Open space is on the second Wednesday.
Oh, then we
Okay, so
can't.
we would have to be third.
We have
First
to-
or third.
We have to stay third then.
Well, or third, fourth, first.
Well, one thing that concerns me is our liaison, Stuart and Nancy, how does that affect their schedules? Because I'm okay with changing it. Wednesdays are, I can adjust things on.
With Stuart, it shouldn't be an issue if he is back as a part of us, because he's involved with open space. But I don't think he has anything on the third Wednesdays, and Clay is okay with the third Wednesday.
Right.
And me, a Wednesday is the same as any other Wednesday.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't have any other obligations other than sit in my office and working.
I
So we
see.
have to stay at the third.
So third seems to be, I looked ahead on the community meeting room calendar, and the third does seem like it's wide open. So it would be the probably best.
Can you
How
adjust?
about that?
Well, we're doing the 4th right now, so if it was moved to the 3rd, that would work perfectly. Then I'd be able to do both commitments.
The third,
Third is fine with me.
is it open here, Clay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
So starting next month?
Do you want
Yeah.
to just make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we change the commission meetings with Park and Rec Commission to the third Wednesday of every month.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, and just, I'm sorry, through the chair, just along, to follow on to that, I'm having trouble getting here, as you can see, by 6 o'clock because of bridge traffic from Emeryville. So is there a possibility that we could change the start time, make it a little bit later so that I'm not late?
6:30?
6:30 or
6:05?
even 6:15. Yeah, 6:05 is about the
6:15.
time I get here.
I'm joking, totally joking. No, I think, I think
6:15, 6:30, 6:30 would give
6:30
a little
would be
room.
fair to you so that you
Would
could.
that be okay with staff to be, is that too late? Is that okay? I mean, actually,
You know, I don't think that extra half an hour is going to make that much difference.
okay, and
No.
actually for me, it's just it's 2 more months when I'm on this schedule, and then I don't have to leave so early for my daughter, beginning June, so.
Okay. But for safety's sake, you want to have a little time.
It's nice
built
to have a
in
little
and
bit
Not
of-
to have that anxiety. of
That's
travel,
really
so
nice, yeah. Okay, thank you.
just-
Great, thanks.
So will this be in effect by next meeting or?
Yes.
Next
Okay.
meeting, so next,
From this point forward, we'll just do 6:30 on Wednesdays until
great.
further notice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So we'll do, the next meeting is the 16th. Okay, P&R.
I move that the meetings be changed to 6:30 on the third Wednesday of each month for the Park and Rec Commission.
I second that, thank you.
All in
Help my
favor?
Stress level.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, I have chairperson. I don't have anything to report. And subcommittees?
I have a few things.
Okay, good.
So for youth services, we had a joint meeting with the Council Facilities Subcommittee and reviewed the skate park RFP, and then made a few very tiny revisions to that, passed it on to council where it was approved, so that's excellent news. And then, do you want to speak to public art?
Yes, we had a meeting on public arts. I think we were ready to send it to council because we worked on the ordinance. Then we have to do something else besides the ordinance, and we'll do that after.
Resolution.
Resolution, I couldn't think of the word. Resolution. But I think it's been sent to the council, or it's supposed to.
I think it's going to planning first.
I think it's going to the planning commission.
Okay, okay.
And we also discussed the public education that needs to happen around the public art idea. Maybe creating some public, some lectures or slideshows or something with guest speakers, letting people know what public art is and answering questions, because we want to make sure that the public is really has a full understanding and a good understanding, and we answer their questions, and that we also have kind of a public forum for discussion. So we discussed how that'll work, how that might lay out.
I'd like, through the chair, I'd like to ask if that could be something that we could televise. Because it's something that
Idea.
people will be interested in, may not think
The
to come
lecture series, you mean?
a lecture on public art and what the intent of the city is, and request of feedback at that time.
That sounds like a good idea.
Now, I think one of the outcomes of the subcommittee meeting that we had was that Caroline on our staff is going to start looking for some potential grants to do public process, public arts education process. So we're in the process of trying to see what kind of grant we can get. There are some things, I guess, through the Silicon Valley Foundation.
That's what I gathered.
Yeah. So we'll report back to you on that when
Good.
when we have information.
Good. And I don't think we met again on concerts, did we? No. Okay. Anyone else have a subcommittee to report? No? Setting subcommittee meetings. Are there any meetings coming up?
Yes.
Programs? Who's on that?
Just, yeah, two of us.
Okay.
Okay. Let me think. Public art, we probably,
If it's going to the planning commission, I don't.
we don't need to
Do
speak until
anything yet.
after that.
Yeah.
Youth services, when we get I don't know how long the RFP is going to be open, but we probably don't need to meet about that in the next month, so I think we're fine.
Yeah, we'll be moving forward with setting up a kind of follow-up meeting for the council and Parks Commission facilities committees. The RFP, I think, is due back on April 18th.
April 18th, okay.
So we'll probably be maybe a week to two after that, probably a couple weeks after that.
Okay,
So I would imagine it'll be sometime in late April, early May.
okay, that sounds good.
Staff, programs report?
Nothing too new to report, just we're in about a quarter through the spring camp and taking signups for the summer camp already, so things are moving along quite nicely. I just wanted to mention that this is a little off here, but with the subcommittees, now that we have our new commissioner, we will be our next meeting, we will I will be sending out in the packet the listing with the blanks. In other words, the availability of the different commissions, so you can be thinking about if you want to get on some other subcommittees or if you want to change one that you're on. So now that we're down to 5, it'll be only 2 per subcommittee rather than 3. So I just wanted to kind of mention that while I was thinking about it. But other than that, there's really nothing too much to report. Steve has some reports coming up.
I'd like to ask, are there any subcommittees presently that have 3?
I don't believe so, but
The arts did, but we don't have
Not
Kevin.
no,
anymore.
Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, no, they currently have 3. No, I do not think so. I think they're either 2 or 1 right now.
Next, I have therapeutic discounts for park and recreation programs. It's got to be Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
pretty much the next 3 or 4 things on the agenda are all me, so I'll just stand here for a while and go through them. The therapeutic discount came up in the last meeting, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to look at it. In a minute, I'll talk about more that came up this week. It's Jamie's idea of providing therapy hours at the pool or discounted programs. And I'm just searching into it and what other pools do, and it's kind of a specific and specialized program. And we decided, I think we talked before about it doing it under the facilities subcommittee, but I think it makes more sense to do it under programs. It's not really a facility, it's really pool specific at this point, so it'd probably be under aquatics program. And then last week at the council meeting, they approved the hours that we had talked about, the punch pass and making the discounts all even for everybody across the board. Some citizens came forward and voiced some concerns about pool pass prices, that surprisingly they wanted to pay more. And
Right?
Wow.
and some stuff came up about the hours. So that was last Monday. Stuart and I met a little bit last week, and he just kind of told me, he said, find as much information as I can. So the report I just gave to you is pretty much comparing ourselves to all the municipal pools around in San Mateo County and San Francisco. The daily drop-in fees are on the first page. Just what sticks out there is Brisbane and Daly City are the only ones that have a non-resident rate. Everybody has the same rate for all swimmers. And then I did, some concerns were voiced about weekends in the summer, it gets full. And we started last year a summer weekend fee for non-resident adults, goes from $7 to $10 on Saturdays and Sunday in summer. So if you have a weekend non-resident family, 2 adults, 2 children, they come in, they're paying $30 compared to residents are $16. If you look at the other cities, it's around $19 to $12 for the same scenario, 2 adults, 2 kids. So we're pretty pricey, and we're still getting the numbers. So I don't know if we need to go higher or lower.
Seems like citizens are concerned because they want to go up there and they can't go up there because of the non-residents that are using it.
Yeah, and then that's the thing too. There's really not a lot of outdoor pools around, especially San Francisco has one in the entire. And it doesn't. I looked it up. It's the Mission Pool in the Mission, and it's surrounded on all 4 sides by buildings. It's like in the middle of.
Yeah.
So there's really no grassy area. I can understand why a lot of people come to our pool in the summer on a hot day.
Yeah.
And we're about the only one. And that only happens, as soon as it gets 85, 90 degrees, and it's going to be hot, or it's going to be busy at every pool. Second page is all the punch pass prices, monthly pass prices. Pretty comparable to everybody else. I did for a monthly pass, like how many visits it takes to reach a discount. So ours is, you're paying for 11, and after 12 and on, you're pretty much swimming for free or for discount rate. It's pretty similar to everybody else. It's 10, 11, 12. Some pools don't do monthly passes, just punch passes, and then the punch pass prices around. And then I talked to Stuart about it too, and it's really, we sell way more punch passes than monthly passes on the third. You really have to swim a lot to make it worthwhile.
And it's only good for that
And it's
month.
only good for that month. So, I looked at the monthly ratings, and there's one that stuck out. I think it was March or May. Yeah, June 31 is the most of any monthly passes, and it's usually below 20. There's not a whole lot of monthly passes being sold. Pretty hardcore, dedicated swimmers. And the punch passes are good, like we said, for a year. You don't have to use them all up in 1 month. And then the comment about, it came up in the meeting that we should look at changing our hours based on the weather more than just a seasonal or school issue. I guess because it's been a warmer winter, or we didn't have much of a winter. So, but if you look at our hours, well, first I just compared us to other outdoor municipal pools. I didn't really want to compare us to indoor pools I didn't think it was a apples to apples comparison. But, I mean, we just have way many more hours of availability than just about any pool. For San Bruno, they're only open in summer. They only have 18 hours of rec swim a week. We have 35, almost double. 14 hours as a lap swim. We've got like 3 times that, 45, 47. And we're pretty consistent year round as far as lap swim. It's 47 hours a week in summer, 44 in fall, 37 or so in spring, 41 in winter. I mean, we're open a lot of hours compared to some of the other local pools.
Sounds like it's just about perfect.
And then I just broke down all the hours different by the season. The one thing, swim lessons, we do Saturdays in spring, 6 days a week in summer. We've gotten away from the fall lessons. We used to do Saturdays in fall. It was hard. We lose almost all our people that teach the lessons are usually lifeguards that have been around for a few years. They have different certification. They're WSI, water safety instructors. It's basically teaching, they're teachers more than they are just lifeguards. And we lose, the bulk of those people are college age, and so we lose a lot of them, and it's hard to do the lessons in the fall. We lose a lot of them in August, even middle of August. College starts at a different time, so, but we could look to bringing that back. Any questions on that?
Yes.
Sure.
The chair? Yeah. We do have many more hours than a lot of these other pools. We don't have any more people.
No.
So the hours are all there, but they're null and void as far as I'm concerned. If there aren't people in that pool and the place is open, we're paying for that time. We're paying for the facility, we're paying for the staff, we're paying for the energy, and there's nobody there. So we can tout how many hours it's available, but not being used. So that's something that's a concern of mine. And also I don't know if we want to speak to this right now. It says therapeutic discount.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the discount may be very therapeutic to somebody who doesn't have any money, but discount isn't therapeutic. The use is therapeutic. So we would say discounts for therapeutic use of the pool. And that's a thing that interests me a great deal. My experience has been for a long time working in therapeutic recreation. When I was younger and working, had certification as a recreation therapist, and I understand the need for the use of water therapy. I have contact with many people in this town that are kind of under the radar. And a young man particularly that I think of, he's in junior college, and he is struggling with a weight problem, has been for his entire life, and he's working as hard as he can to lose this weight. He would under no circumstances get into that pool with the general population as such. However, if it were a schedule for people who are there, as I've tried now for 2 years, to have this idea thought about, if there were a schedule for people who wanted to use the pool for therapeutic use, walking, if they want to swim, swimming, but they're not intersected by lap swimmers, they're not there with another crowd, and they're just there to assist themselves in meeting these goals that they have to better themselves. This young man is doing everything he can. He's actually in a program at the college he's in to help him to lose weight and get in shape. The use of this pool would be tremendous for him. I often think that what people do with their money privately is their own business, and nobody cares or should. But what is done with the public money is everybody's business. And the public money is being spent on the pool being open and nobody in it, the pool being open and it's open for the regulars who do a regular thing, etc. But we have not yet made this stipulation that we are interested in and caring about people who have these specific needs. And we can say, you know, that, oh yes, we're a healthy community and we want to be healthy, but we have a facility that could make such a difference in people's lives. And we know very well that there are people who will not get into the general population of swimmers by reason of their disability, by reason of their weight, by reason of their self-image, whichever the case is. And we can help that. We could make a major impact by allowing for a time when folks could get into the pool and it's scheduled specifically for them to be able to use it. So along with the hours that it's open, and as I said, you look at the hours and they're terrific. We have a terrific number of hours open, but we can't point to a real change or difference between our pool and other people's pools in terms of numbers. So I'm going to go back to that and ask us to set up, if necessary, separate meetings, discussions, a discussion here that we'll put on the agenda for that specifically, for another meeting, whichever is the commission's pleasure. But I'm adamant about it at this point, that when the public money is being spent, the public need to be served, will be served. And that means if we're going to open the pool and there's nobody in it, why aren't those times set aside specifically for people who will use it? We'll do the same thing that we want to have done with the use of public art. We will do an educational program. That's why we're doing it. That's who is invited. Anybody's invited. Anybody can come because it's a public pool. But specifically, this is for people who want to use it for therapeutic purposes. We may have someone who's a lap swimmer saying, well, that's therapeutic to me. Well, that's okay. But we definitely would focus on folks that have a need for the use of the water as buoyancy and for exercise and health issues. So,
Are there times when it is empty?
It's pretty, in the winter, evenings, it's pretty quiet. And we've just, well, this came up before when we wanted to close it in December and January for evening lap swim. We were figuring there's between 2 and 6 people a night were coming in between 4 and 7 p.m. And we didn't decide to close the pool then. I would just thinking also when we talk about other programs, finding people to teach specific classes, and would be something staff could definitely look into. And if we're going to specifically market for a therapeutic usage, I would feel a lot better if we had somebody that's certified therapeutic, WADC certified. If they're, or I mean, it's just a matter of how do we would, if we're going to set this time aside, we would have to advertise it as such. So the family, if it's a warm evening that we have it scheduled, the family doesn't show up with a bunch of kids and like, oh, sorry, it's set for a certain time. I mean, I would have no problem trying it. I would like somebody who's had experience doing it, be involved with them or contact with them, and also just making it known too that this certain times, I mean, we would have to kind of advertise it or at least let it be known somehow that.
my experience with that, after having worked at the therapeutic pool, is that unless those people are there for a day program, they're there all day long, or they've been affiliated with that facility for a long time, they're not knowledgeable of it. I'm thinking of people who have a divergent, a multiplicity of disabilities, and I'm not talking about folks that couldn't possibly get in the pool without a Hoyer lift. I'm talking about people who can walk into a pool, can walk, around their house, and they basically need to be able to use the buoyancy of the water and the exercise at their own pace. We do have some classes, but there are people who won't go to those classes, and they have reasons for them. But I think if we have lifeguards there, I don't see folks that are coming in there for therapeutic use of the pool or for use of the pool for therapeutic reasons, however we would want to pose that. I don't see them as posing any different need than people who come there on a daily basis, because the lifeguards are responsible for slipping and falling, for people who are getting in and out of the pool correctly or incorrectly. People are in the pool and they get hurt, and they certainly have an awful lot more work to do when they have the summer crowd of a lot of folks in, a lot of folks on the grass, and people coming in and out the door. So I don't think this will be a large group, but I think it can build, and I think it's a travesty that we haven't done it. And because we know it's there, we know we have the need, and I think if we advertise it correctly and we educate the public what the use is for, I think we're going to get a good group of people and a pretty loyal group of people that will come on a regular basis. But if you put it at a time when somebody has to go to work, just like everything else, they're not going to come. I've asked for a later hour in the evening. We've talked also about the fact that it's a funny thing in this weather that we live in here, that oftentimes it calms down later in the evening. And I've asked to see if we couldn't have the pool opened.
That would be probably a pretty, I mean, staff is already there.
Yeah.
We're not having to bring people back in after we've closed. If we did it right after evening lap swim.
Clay, do we need an instructor that's certified for therapeutic?
There's no, pardon me, but there's no such thing.
Well,
You can have a Red Cross instructor, but then you should have that at every single opening of the pool.
yeah.
You're not looking for a physical therapist. You're not looking for a physical therapist. Yes. Surely. As you would with a job. You wouldn't be designating people by disability. Mhm.
I have a few questions, comments. Is that, can I talk? Okay. So my first comment is that I think it would be good to see how much the pool is used, so we can kind of gauge that if it's necessary. I don't know if we're talking about opening the pool for these therapeutic needs once it's already like closed to the public, or if we're just gonna say we close an hour earlier and then have like, so say the pool closes now at 7 and we find that not a lot of people are using it in the last hour, so then we close the pool at 6 and then the last hour is for therapeutic needs, or are we saying we're gonna close the pool at 7 and then have staff there for an additional hour? Is that, I'm just trying to clarify. It could go either way.
Everything's hypothetical right now. But also, we are changing the way we capture people that come to the pool. It came up before when we talked about closing in the evening. So we are now, I believe since January of this year, tallying by shift. How many people come in for morning lap swim? How many come in for lunchtime lap swim? How many come in for evening lap swim? How many come in for evening rec swim? So
Do you have
Or it was
water
kind of one-
aerobics too? Do you still have water aerobics?
we still have water aerobics too. Yes, we have that too. So in past, we just kind of lumped everybody either in lap swim, rec swim, or water aerobics. Didn't really give us what time they were. So we are going to capture a better idea of what time people are coming to swim and what time the pools are pretty empty. And what
We might find that we could combine uses. We could do lap
Yeah.
swim and a few lanes. We could dedicate a couple of lanes for therapeutic use, or the open air.
or even going to her idea, like, I mean, we can get away from the therapeutic work. I was just thinking, it's kind of like when people don't want to go to a gym because they don't want to work out next to Arnold Schwarzenegger's. So they're just not in that shape yet. If we just do an adult beginner night, come to the pool, because it is kind of intimidating if you're going to go to the pool and some guys are swimming like Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Like, well,
That's a good idea, I like that idea.
I'm not as strong a swimmer. I don't want to get in a lane and be bobbing around.
Most of these people, to get maximum use of the pool for people that are going to be walkers, let's say,
Yeah.
you wouldn't use the lanes as we now use them. You'd use them across.
Yeah.
So you would have people, as you do, for example, if you went up to, I think it's CPMC, the Ralph K. Davies pool, it's a therapeutic pool, and I've been in it, and that's what they do. Depends on your height, what lane you're in. Because as the water gets deeper, the taller people are walking in those lanes. And so you would, instead of going the long way, you'd go the side way. And so that does preclude having, the 2 or 3 lap swimmers who want to do their, lap swimming from being in the pool at that time. But I think if we educate the public of the use and we do some wise instruction and invitation, this can be a great benefit of the pool to the community. And I really think it's incumbent upon us to be looking at that. I mean, we pretty much know, that the whole field of recreation is park recreation and therapeutic recreation. And if you were to go to get your master's degree in recreation, you would get one of those focuses, right? So there is such a thing as therapeutic recreation. I don't see us being in the avant-garde of that, or even being in the game of therapeutic recreation. I think all recreation is therapeutic, incidentally. But with reference to the use of the pool, this is, to me, really sad that I see people who would very much go with the proper invitation, with the proper education about what we're doing, what it's being open for them to do as they wish. They want to walk, just like anyone else comes there for recreation. They want to walk in the pool, they can walk in the pool. They want to swim, they can swim. They want to float, they can float. And we have a lifeguard. And I think we would, if we got 5 people, that would be more than we now have at night. And I believe that, and I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I believe that we also might actually draw people from other communities. Not that that's my focus, but I think that we'd at least have 5 from Brisbane, and I could probably find the 5. But I do think that once it got known that this was a good opportunity for people who normally try to exercise and find it difficult, that they would join us. So, has anyone else here been in a therapeutic pool? Have you ever used the pools?
But I know
any of the
somebody has.
hospitals?
I did, Mills.
Did you?
And there were swimmers, and I was doing walking mainly. So one didn't interfere with the other.
I'm pretty much not wanting to see lap swimmers at that time, because there are so many times lap swimmers can be there. I would like to see these people have an opportunity to really be kind of left to work without having this going on, and just see how it works. And we could do it on a trial basis.
I can definitely see this program drawing in people from other cities, which would definitely boost the numbers, I think, in a time when not a lot of people are using the pool. I'm just wondering if, we're discussing a discount, and I know Clay kind of mentioned about people abusing this therapeutic time, and obviously you have to say, you have to accept everyone who says that they're there for therapeutic needs. But have we discussed the option of providing this time for therapeutic needs without the discount? What other discounts do we offer? I don't know if it's necessary if we have.
Right now, there's a resident rate, a non-resident rate for daily drop-in. If you buy punch passes or monthly passes.
Right, but there's no
discounts, but there's
student
no-
discount or military discount.
Well,
Oh, seniors. We have
Seniors? Okay. Because I could
get the
definitely,
youth rate.
I feel like if there was a discount, then you may see an increase of people taking advantage of that time. And I don't know how much the discount would be. And I'm also curious, I don't know if anyone has ideas about like how often we would offer this, once a week, twice a week,
Oh,
or
no, for it to be therapeutic, you would want it
every day.
as many, at least 3 times, 4 times a week. But I'm actually thinking this. I found that the city, if you go to the city and you present the fact that you really don't have the money and you need the use, the city does make an allowance for you.
Right.
And so I'm thinking to myself, would we, and this may be contrary to what I've been saying, I'm trying to think back about it, would we need to have a discount for that kind of group any more than any other group? And I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think it would ensure that the people who were there were actually there because they were using it for therapeutic needs. And I'm, like you said, I'm sure if people really needed to use the facility and couldn't afford it, then the city would handle that on a case-by-case basis. But I don't know that it's necessary for us to say right off the bat, all of you, you can pay a cheaper rate. I just don't know how
I agree with
fair
that.
that is.
I do too.
And we haven't even had a subcommittee meeting about this yet, so we don't have to, we don't have to hash it all out right now.
That's true.
Okay.
So,
But I think it's important to make the pool a safe space, and I can see how people may not be comfortable. I mean, going to a pool can feel like you're exposing yourself, and so I think it's great for Brisbane to offer this, and I think it would definitely draw in more people, which is important because this is an hour that it's not being used as much, and it's great for us to kind of think of ways that not only can we provide things for people in our community, but maybe we can bolster sales in that environment. So it sounds like a win-win to me.
Are you doing concerts in the park next?
yeah, I was gonna take a sneak look at the agenda. Concerts at the Park, I was just gonna do a quick update. We have 4 of the 5 dates booked. We have Foreverland coming back the first Friday. The second Friday, August 8th, is open. August 15th is the House Rockers. August 22nd is gonna be our local night.
Great.
And then August 29th is Caravanserai, which is a Santana cover band.
Oh,
So it's a little bit different music. They did Redwood City last year, and
Great.
I talked to a guy in Red City, and 8,000 people were there. I don't know if we're
Wow.
going to pull in
Wow, that's
8,000.
awesome.
But
Not in Brisbane.
no, that would be everybody in Brisbane and all their relatives would have to come to the concert. But
Great.
yeah, and I went to their Facebook page, and they've got, I don't know how many followers. So they're pretty popular
So
local.
we
band.
only have one opening.
So we have one opening left, and I have waiting to hear back from another band.
Okay, good.
Sounds really good.
thank you.
And I believe that is it. Okay.
Next, I have commission matters, written communications. Commission calendar.
I'm sorry. I missed something that I wanted to add, if I may.
Okay.
In reviewing some notes on the DEIR, it became clear to me that in no place was it mentioned that we have tennis courts, or how the tennis courts are used, what their expense is, or how we're going to account for that in this plan, the future. And these tennis courts cost us money. We keep those lights on at least till 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes when I go by, and I go by quite frequently, there's nobody there. And there are other times there are a lot of people there. And I think it's a terrific service, and it's free. And most of the people I know who, go to courts the quality of ours, they're paying a fee. I'm not asking that we ask for a fee. I'm just saying that there ought to be some record of the fact in our notes and in our business with reference to the draft environmental impact report or any other reports. It doesn't show up. As far as I can see, it doesn't show up anywhere. I don't know how we missed it, but those things happen. So I think I would like to see that reviewed. And wanted to, along with that, since so many people who go up there, and I do interview them, I go and I just chat with them for a while, and I say, "Hi, are you from Brisbane?" "No, I'm from such and such." "Oh, you come all the way out here to play tennis?" "Yes." Why is that so?" Because it feels so safe. And that's the same reason that we have a lot of guys using the basketball courts. They'll come from a distance because they feel really safe there. And that's a really nice, it's a nice feature of our town. So I think that we should keep in mind, though, that the citizens who are paying taxes, who are participating in this community, who have given of their lifeblood in some cases to work on community issues, that they ought to be heard and that we ought to be looking to see that they are served first and foremost. And all of our programs, all of our recreation programs, which are the only ones that I really can speak to, that all of them have this.
Facilities would be the one to go to.
I think that may be so, and I think that it ought to be also on our, as part of our philosophy, that if you pay, for example, my property taxes are half of my income for the whole year. And so if I'm paying that much for property taxes, you can be well assured that I'm looking out to see that citizens who live here are getting the services. And we're putting out a lot of money for people who don't live here. And I don't discriminate against them coming here to use the facilities. I think it's fine if we have the space. They want to come, they're not causing any problems or trouble. But I really think that every one of the facilities, including the daycare, Silver Spot, including the tennis courts, all of them, we want to look out for people who are paying their property taxes in this town and make sure that we're not eliminating them by any means. Thank you.
Next, I have commission calendar. I don't know. Other than changing the meeting, which we already agreed on.
Right.
So I have a motion to adjourn.
I
Go
second.
ahead, Karen.
Oh, no.
Go ahead,
Oh, you're gonna make a.
You have to make a
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
1 second. We have someone in the community. Did you want to speak?
Oh,
Do you have a mic?
Hello, everyone. Sorry I was late. I was coming from work. My name is Dominique Bocanegra, born and raised in Brisbane. Just moved back from college and just trying to get more involved with the city that, created and raised me. I was at the Open Space and Ecology meeting not too long ago and found that you guys were having a meeting as well. I just want to get back into, teen programs. I was a kid here, went to the teen center, did all the programs. I worked at the teen center, and to see it close is kind of heartbreaking. And to see all these teens around, it's like, what are they doing that, is different than when I was being raised here? So hopefully, I work at a middle school in the city, and we have an amazing after-school program. Very, very influential. It's very structured, and these kids are ones that want to go to good colleges and good high schools, and so they're very driven, and I feel like that's the community here in Brisbane as well. So hopefully I could just, keep in contact with you guys and really focus on more of the teens. So, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Now, do you have a motion to adjourn?
Now, I move to adjourn the meeting.
And I will second it with a welcome to our new commissioner.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we're happy to have you.
I'm happy to be.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 How are you?
Good. How are you?
So you must be thinking, now what the heck, she wanted a discount and now she's